The following program is a public access production. Comcast is required to provide time on this channel and make it available pursuant to franchise agreements with the communities we serve. Comcast is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of Comcast or its affiliates.
Good evening. I'm Ellen Roberts, and I'm hosting Senior Issues, Etc., and welcome to the first show of the 2019-2020 season. Today we've got several ladies here from the Lake County Independent Living Center.
Lake County Center?
Lake County Center for Independent Living. I knew I should have written that down. Let's see, Vanessa Bromir and Claudia Mancera. Okay, thank you for letting me. And if you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself and the center, and of course, all our viewers get a piece of paper and pencil because I'll have a few phone numbers to write down and such. And there we go, Vanessa.
My name is Vanessa Bromir, and I am the Blind Services Advocate. So essentially what I do is I help individuals with vision loss learn how to adapt to their new environment, whether it be new or whether it be something they've already had, but something more has happened and they need a little extra help. So I help those with all ages. But if you are someone who is 55 and older, we can get you some adaptive devices and technology for free. We can get you these items. We can teach you how to use them. And I have a couple items here just to kind of demonstrate. One is a Prodigy talking glucose meter for those who are diabetic. What's really great about this device is it's completely audible. And you can also connect it to your computer if you have one, and get your readings off your computer and either send them to your doctor. However, if you're not savvy with technology, you can print it out and provide it to your doctor as well.
Well, that's nice to have it both ways, and then you can look back at a history, you know.
Right.
See what, it's like when I check the calendar, what did I weigh? Sometimes I don't want to know. But it's good to have a record.
The second device I have here is a talking pendant watch.
Oh, okay.
It's a single button watch, so there's two buttons. The top one would tell the time by pressing it. It'll tell you audibly. And the second button is to adjust the hands. You won't need to do this, as this one is an atomic watch and will set automatically.
Oh, that's nice. It's fun to watch those when they first get the batteries spin around until they find the right time.
Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't take much to make me happy. All right, and Claudia?
I'm the Community Outreach and Administrative Assistant at the Lake County Center. My role is to bring awareness of everything that we do at the center all over in the community, whether it is doing presentations or participating in outreach events, whatever we may need. I also assist in the office with a lot of different administrative things that we need to have in place to make sure that the center is operating smoothly.
Okay, good. I know a lot of people, I mean, when I read the title of your group, I thought it was going to be apartments, livings, and things like that. So it's good to get this clarified that this is for, people's disabilities or difficulties and what can be done. Because I certainly didn't know that your organization existed, and it's wonderful because you're kind of left out there in the, like, there's got to be something, but what? So it's great to have. And you also serve McHenry County as well as Lake County?
All of Lake and McHenry County.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and we are often confused with a residential facility because of our name has Lake County Center for Independent Living, but we're non-residential.
Okay. And you were saying you've got an anniversary coming up when we were talking, so that would...
Yes, so our center is going to be celebrating 30 years of service. We're really excited about it because we are celebrating at the same time as the Americans with Disabilities Act came to pass. So as they celebrate 30 years, we do as well. So we will be celebrating on March 7, 2020. We're going to have a fundraiser event to celebrate our anniversary.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. And people can call or drop in at your offices for, assistance, I know.
Yeah, either one.
Either
We
one.
take walk-ins, or you can call to get information.
Okay.
Another really cool thing about our center is we offer services to all ages and all disabilities.
Well, yeah, 'cause disabilities don't discriminate by age or finances or anything else.
Nope.
It's just, that's the way it is. So other like mobility issues and people with difficulties like that, do you help them or make suggestions as to how they could modify their house after they've,
Yeah, so we conduct site surveys in the community so that if a place is not accessible, we are able to go and assess the building. We provide input on what kind of things they can make or do to make it accessible for everybody, whether it is a physical or a visual or whatever the barrier may be. We provide some recommendations on what they can do. In addition to that, we also have referrals and information for people that need modifications in their home. So they would contact our information and referral advocate, and they will give them information about what agencies they can be referred to in order to get modifications in their home.
Well, that's good. So it's not just, well, you can do this, but how? Who do I talk to? And I'm sure certain contractors are more skilled at that than others or specialize in it. So it's good that, you've got somebody who isn't trying it out for the first time. Some of these things aren't DIY or whatever they put that on. And you provide training for people of all ages. I know when we spoke earlier, you were talking about as people lose their vision, sometimes the white cane and adapting to how to use that and things, you'll help.
Right. So we have 5 core services, and one of them is our independent living skills training. And under that service falls the older blind services per se. And this is where they can learn anything from using the cane in their home or in the community to adapting to cooking, cleaning, reorganization, laundry, even travel, how to use the bus.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, it's good to learn how this stuff. I mean, somehow I think I might try to convince people I didn't know how to do the laundry, but maybe if you can't do it, then it becomes more, it's not as much of chores. It's something that holds you back, and you think, oh my. So that's good that and you'll come to houses, or is there a kitchen set up at your facility that you can teach people at, or how's that?
We do go into the community, yes.
It's better to teach them at their own home because they have the devices that they will be using. So it's a lot better, if we're doing that, using their own devices.
And they're more comfortable.
Right, yeah, and you can see things that, might not have occurred to anybody. If you move this here, it'll, help with different things. Let's see, I noticed you had brought some phones there.
Yeah, so this is another one of the programs that we are part of at the center. We are a testing site for ITAC, which stands for Illinois Telecommunications Access Technology. Oh no, Illinois Telecommunications Access Corporation. So what this does is people can obtain a free amplified phone every 3 years if they are a person who are hard of hearing. They are also available in CapTel, which has the screen reading part. So if somebody's hearing doesn't work with an amplified phone, they are able to obtain that phone as well. In addition to that, they also have a cell phone amplifier now, because a lot of people are not using landline phones anymore. They're using their cell phone as their primary phone number.
And
We
do
also
those
have the cell phone
attach to
amplifiers.
The phone? To
It connects through Bluetooth.
Oh, okay.
So it's two different devices. One is a handheld one, and one is the one that you use with headphones.
Okay.
So that is part of that program. In addition to that, they can also get accessories for the phone. So there is a flasher where you can set up your cell phone, and it actually flashes to let you know that there's an incoming call, because they might not hear the phone ringing.
Right. And you said those phones are free for
These are a
qualified
free
individuals?
state program, yeah.
Now, is there any age on that for the, or just
No.
regard as long as you have
As
a
long
hearing
as you
disability?
have a hearing disability and your doctor can sign off on the application, that's all that is needed.
Oh, that's great. I know. You know, more I hear, I have a large extended family, and you see these things that would, well, that would have been helpful for dad or aunt, you know, or something. I just didn't realize that was out there. So a lot of times, you know, you're looking at something at Menards and going, well, maybe this one will work. And, you know, but that's wonderful.
Yeah, so every phone here has an amplification mode. So you can turn it on and turn it off depending on how you like to use it.
Other members of the family
Other
would
members
need
of the
it.
family. So if somebody who's hard of hearing is going to be using it, they know to push that button. There's also a setting where you can leave it on amplified phone. If you're the only resident in the home, you can just turn that on, and it just stays on amplification mode every time.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a little break now, and I'm going to mention a few things of upcoming shows. Next month, we're going to have a representative here from Elder Care. So they have volunteers that work with the elderly, and, you know, like most places, they're also looking for people who would like to volunteer. So look forward to talking with them next month. And I wanted to remind everybody that coming up October 15th through December 7th is the annual enrollment for Medicare. So if you're looking to make any changes in your supplemental insurance or move from regular Medicare to Medicare Advantage, that'd be the time to do it. And I wrote this one down so I'd get this one right. The State Health Insurance Assistance Program, SHIP, is a wonderful resource. They have a phone number. Let's see, 1-800-252-8966, where you can call up and ask for information about the insurance. One thing I found out recently, all states have SHIP numbers to contact. So if you have a friend in a different state, let them know that, you know, there's help out there from an independent source. Because sometimes, I don't know about anybody else, but I worry when I call up an insurance company that I'm sort of implying I might, you know, buy something from them. It's not necessarily the case. A lot of times you just want independent information. So again, the SHIP assistance program's there for everybody, regardless of state. And our annual enrollment for Medicare is coming up. So if you're tempted to try something that your neighbor has, now's the time to switch over. So, well, that's all I've got for the break. I hope everybody had a second to rewind. And now we'll go back to the Lake County Center for Independent Living. Okay. Better late than never to get that right. You also have referral for services. I noticed in my notes that you'll work for people who have questions about Social Security or Medicaid, people who have disabilities, and what to do and how to apply for things like that. I assume that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So they just call up or make an appointment.
Usually, if it's more extensive, we would suggest an appointment.
Okay.
But you know, and if you're very confused on how to apply or the steps, what you need to do, we can actually open that as one of your goals, and we can work with you one-on-one through the entire process to help you learn and become familiar with what you need to do.
Well, that's good. And if you have a simple question, just a phone call, you know, because, you know,
Absolutely.
you don't always want to drive into some place, but that's good to have.
Yeah, and our some of the advocates in the office are SHIP certified, so they have the knowledge. They've gone through the training to know what kind of services are available for the person, or what they can provide suggestions on what they
Well,
would be
and I'm
looking
sure,
at.
at least for me, sometimes vocabulary, people who work in insurance, you say something and you think you're communicating well, and I may hear something different or a different interpretation of the word. So it's good to have somebody else who's used to having people ask the questions and say, okay, explain this to me one more time. Are there some support groups that you work with for people with disabilities?
Yeah, so we have two support groups currently that are at the center. One of them is WOW, which is Words of Wisdom. That support group is open to any person with any disability. And they meet the second Wednesday of every month from 1:30 to 3. And we also have Heads Up, and it's a support group that is for traumatic brain injury survivors and the person who assists them at home.
Oh, well, yeah, good for it, caregivers, and to, I'm sure there's certain things that all caregivers struggle with, and it's nice to know that you're not the only one, or this worked for this person, or whatever, so it's good.
We also participate in a variety of support groups for seniors with low vision. So we participate in different locations all through Lake County. We are looking in the future to bring a support group to McHenry County as well, because there's really not, we haven't been able to find too many out there. So we're always looking on ways to add programs and increase awareness of different things available.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned McHenry, because we were talking earlier and said that with the name of your group, some people don't realize that, oh, I live in the wrong county.
Yeah. So because our name is Lake County Center for Independent Living, when we're trying to outreach to try to get people to participate in our programs or benefit from our services, we are often told, well, you serve Lake County, how do we know those services are available to us? So we do serve all of Lake and all of McHenry County. So.
Right. And you refer to people from DuPage County, you call up and give some suggestions where they could talk to in their own facility locations?
Yeah, so if they are looking for information and it's something we're not able to provide, we definitely would refer people to the center that would be serving them, whether it is a different county in Illinois or if it's a different center in a different state.
Could you give us your phone number for people to call?
Yeah. Our phone number is 847-949-4440.
And you have a website too?
Yes. Our website is www.lccil.org.
Very good. Yeah, so that people can contact that. Now, we had been talking, I had several family members with macular degeneration, so I have an interest in that. Different things about different types of glasses that help different low vision problems, different, if you could speak to that.
Right. So we're not a store, but we do collaborate with some different places that are stores and do carry these products. And what we do when we meet with an individual first is we assess their need. We ask for their eye report so we can kind of break it down and see what they're struggling with. Because, sometimes they may say they can see something, but in actuality, they can't. So some of these items that are beneficial they're called TV viewing glasses. And, you can put them on like regular glasses, and each side of the glasses has a wheel that you can independently focus larger or smaller, so you can see the TV better.
Okay, well, that's great, because you're, don't see things as well as you did or whatever, you probably it slips away gradually without you noticing it. So the sooner you
Right.
get these adaptive things like that would be great.
Yeah, another good thing is they're called cocoons. Essentially, they're glasses that they can fit over your regular glasses
Oh,
if you
okay.
have them. But if you don't have glasses, you can wear them independently as well. And they come in different tones and shades for different eye conditions. So as you were saying, macular, some tones that may be beneficial are a green or a yellow.
Okay, so people would see better in green.
Yes.
You know, that is interesting. My father had macular degeneration, and he always liked to watch TV show MASH, and I thought, well, it's so dark, you know, but it was all green in the background. He could see that better than a lot of the other shows. So, yeah, well, okay, well, that explains something I hadn't heard of before. And you do, it's okay, referrals, and like you said, disabilities certainly don't discriminate by age. Now, you had talked about 55 and older, but say someone who had a traumatic brain injury or whatever, or a younger person, you certainly help them or help their family. It's not strictly
Right.
elderly.
We serve all ages, all disabilities.
All ages and all disabilities. And we're a little bit different than other organizations because we don't do things for them. We train them on how to do things for themselves. Our mission is to empower people with disabilities to lead
A self-directed.
self-directed lives as valued members of the community. So we do it by teaching them how to do those things for themselves.
Well, that's good. And I suppose workplaces could ask for if someone had a disability and they wanted to help their employee. You know, because again, they wouldn't know how to modify something. If
Yeah, that's another thing that we work with our consumers on. So if it's somebody that's looking to go into get a new employment, or they're out of high school and they are trying to figure out what they're gonna do, whether if they're going to college or they're looking to get employed. They can participate in our employment readiness programs at the center, and we train them on anything from how to write a resume, a cover letter, how to do interviewing, when do you disclose a disability, how to ask for proper accommodations at work, everything that they need to be prepared for employment. We work with them on that.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, a lot of the disabilities, it's how you present it to somebody who's not familiar with it, so that they aren't scared by it, that, you know, will they be able to actually do the job, or some modification. You know, I had worked for a bigger corporation where you see, you know, people that you know, who had been accommodated, but smaller businesses, you have less of a familiarity with these problems.
Yeah, and if people still are confused with disability etiquette, we do disability awareness presentations in the communities.
That would be good, because I don't know when to step in and help and when to step back if you don't know the person. You could insult, or otherwise they're probably thinking, well, you're standing there perfectly healthy, you couldn't give me a hand. You know? So, well, that'd be interesting. I'd like to go to one of those programs, and, you know, because I, you know, don't want to be paralyzed, indecision about something like that. Okay. Now, do you refer to seeing eye dogs for the blind or whatever? How does that?
So if someone is interested in getting a guide dog, we can definitely refer them to the organization.
Okay.
But if you want a guide dog, you do need to learn a cane first. You need to be very well versed in using your mobility cane before you are able to get a guide dog.
Okay, so I hadn't realized that. I know. Many years ago, my parents raised a puppy for seeing eye school, which was wonderful but very traumatic at year one when we had to send him off to his wonderful job that he did quite well. But you know, you see so many more service dogs out there, the hearing impaired and that weren't around when I was a child, but seem to be helpful.
Right.
You know, that's wonderful. Let's see. So the traumatic brain injuries, are those mostly falls or auto accidents, or I suppose, you know, could be born with a brain injury. It wouldn't have to be traumatic. Well, I guess birth is kind of traumatic. We just don't remember it.
I mean, traumatic brain injury can be a lot of things. It really just depends on the individual. Pretty much our thing is, if you say you have a traumatic brain injury, you're welcome. So.
Okay.
And that support group actually meets on the 4th Tuesday of every month from 7 to 8:30 p.m. It's in the evening.
All right, and you would, again, with sort of hopping around here, help people with disabilities connect with state programs that are available that might help them that you wouldn't even know existed, well, like me on the telephone, and I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, whether it's another organization for, you know, vision loss, or if it's just something in general like mano mano for those who only speak Spanish. We have several staff that do speak Spanish as well, so we will be able to assist them with that.
Okay, and other translation facilities or assistance? Like say if someone spoke Polish and didn't have a local family member to help translate for them.
We will provide an interpreter if there is somebody requesting an additional language, whether it is American Sign Language or Spanish or any other language. We just need to have a little bit more of a advance notice so that we can set it, you know, for their appointment. But we will provide every accommodation they need in order to receive services. So if they prefer to use Spanish as their primary language for our services, we do have 5 advocates who speak Spanish at our facility.
Well, that's good, because sometimes it's hard enough to understand when you're speaking the same language, but when you translate, that would be, you know, or, you know, oh, I speak that pretty good. Like, what on earth did I, yeah. Okay. Now, I know that there are some other little nifty little gadgets for hearing or sight impaired that, like, for what color is this, and which bill am I handing to the cashier? Could you speak about some of those? That
Yeah.
I know you don't have them with, but
Right. So the list is pretty extensive, but those are some of the more popular items. One is a color identifier. So what it does is it has a little button on it, and you would hold the device up to your clothes, and it would audibly tell you the color you're wearing. Now, if you have patterns, it might be a little more difficult depending on where you hold it.
okay.
But that's what that main function is. It does have another button on it that can detect light source if you're someone who has complete vision loss.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's pretty cool. The second item you discussed was the money reader. And that's pretty cool too, because you just slip the denomination in the little money reader, and that will also audibly tell you what denomination you have. The other cool thing about that device is it can also be used for somebody who is deafblind. It can vibrate depending on what denomination you have in the machine, or by light. So.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. You know, it's amazing the technology that's out there.
Absolutely.
And I thank you for coming, Lake County Center for Independent Living.
Thank you for having us.
You know, I hope our viewers will take advantage of this wonderful organization and contact them. And you have volunteers too, so maybe somebody will volunteer some time at the desk there. And our show's ending. I thank you for watching. And remember, when you get to the ends of your rope, tie a knot and hang on, because it's going to get better. Thank you again. Goodbye.